Hi, I'm Zack O'Farrill.
And I'm Adam O'Farrill.
And this is
At the Bar
with the O'Farrill Brothers, our podcast where we interview interesting people about music, life, artistry, food, culture, and everything in between.
The kind of conversations you can only truly have at the bar. Our first guest for the program is a multi-talented individual who just happens to play bass, and his name is Bam Bam Rodriguez. He is from many places, originally Caracas, Venezuela. He has worked with Arturo O'Farrill, Juancho Herrera, and the Villalobos brothers, and he runs an ambient music series called Music to be Bored.
After that, we'll be speaking with Malika Zarra, an incredible singer, born in Morocco, grew up in Paris, who has worked with musicians such as John Zorn, Makoto Ozone, Will Calhoun, in addition to collaborating with Arturo O'Farrill and the Afro Latin Jazz Orchestra as part of their Cuban Khaleeji Project at NYU Abu Dhabi. She has a 2011 record called Berber Taxi, but as you'll hear in the interview, she's cooking up some new music for later this year.
So grab something to drink and enjoy the show.
Just to put the official bow on the start of this podcast, we want to welcome our first guest today, joining the O'Farrill brothers, myself, Zack, and my companion and literal brother, Adam. We want to introduce our figurative brother, the great Bam Bam Rodriguez. But we're going to start with a set of questions. You're actually familiar with this set of questions, Bam, because you answered them back in October when we started our first rehearsal with the Fat Cats. But, you know, the Fat Cats is a select group of, 7 or 8 kids young musicians who heard you answer these questions. But, I think all the people might be curious about how you would answer these questions too. So here's the questions. I'm going to list them for you. If you need a refresher, too bad. No. So we need your name, however you want to answer that question. What you do.
However you want to answer that question. What's your favorite food? Only one way to answer that question.
There's only one way. Yeah, there's only one correct answer. Your favorite food, your favorite book, movie, or TV show.
I know what his favorite book is.
Or it could also be an and question. And what you've been listening to lately that's really moved you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I can.
So, thanks for having me, first of all.
Thanks for being here.
For the ones of you who don't know this, I love hanging with these two gentlemen over here. So my name is Bam Rodriguez. I picked a nice way to answer that question, right?
The easy one.
Yeah, that was easy. Yeah. What do I do? I am mostly a human being. When I have free time from that, I'm a bass player. Two very antagonic things. They don't really match. But yeah, I'm a bass player. I play with several different projects. I'm a bass player for the Afro Latin Jazz Orchestra. I have a couple of projects of mine, Los Crema Paraíso, that I play bass and synths for. I have a solo project called Music to be Bored, which is sort of music for sleeping, meditation, eating.
And hippos.
And hippos, yeah, very important. There's many kinds of hippos that go into that. There's this kind of hippo. There's also small kinds of hippos, like this one.
Does that one doesn't make a sound?
It makes kind of a donkey sound. And then there's multicolored hippos.
Oh,
I mean, depends on the gene. If they get the gene W, they get yellow. And if they get the gene triple P, they get the pink.
Okay.
My favorite food, I think I cannot shake it off. It's ceviche.
Oh, man.
It's been that for years. And I try to have other things be my favorite foods, and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm also a firm believer that really good fish, doesn't need to be cooked, and all it really needs is some citrus and spice, and it's the happiness. It's happiness in a cup or a bowl.
That's
Anywhere
it.
to get ceviche on Flatbush Ave?
Come, I'll make it for you anytime, baby.
There you go. Now everybody knows.
Yeah, now everybody knows where to find ceviche. Yeah, no, it's good. The only thing is that you cannot really eat it on a napkin. It's problematic.
Yeah, it's not really a to-go food as much.
Yeah, my favorite book, movie, TV show. Well, my favorite book. Adam knows what my favorite book is.
I know.
Um,
I'm not going to say it, but I know.
My favorite book must be The Little Prince.
Mm-hmm. I've
It's,
seen editions of it in several languages at your place before.
Yeah, because I have it in French because it's the original. Then of course I got it in Spanish because then I want to show it to some people, and then if they are Spanish speakers, I want to show it. And then in English too, obviously, because I live here. And then just people started giving it to me in other languages. So I have it in Italian. I have it in Latin.
Whoa. Is that for all the young junior cardinals in the Vatican City who are reading The Little Prince?
It's for two kind of audiences. The first audience is exactly that, and the second audience is, I don't know if you notice, sometimes you are entering a rehearsal and they hand you a chart, and at the top it says Latin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta work on your Latin feel, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay,
I still don't know what that means when I see a chart like that. But
yeah, Latin.
Latin, yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is a lot of people think they know, and then
372 options.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know, I'll figure it out. And I believe I have answers to all the questions, except if you want me to say that my favorite movie is Spirited Away.
Ooh, that's number 2 on my list.
Yeah, that's a big one in the O'Farrill household.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, check this out.
No Face Ghost. Oh, he's adorable.
My favorite TV show, I'll have to pass on that one. I don't really watch TV shows too much.
Great.
I have a little bit of an addictive personality when I like something. Maybe you can tell that from like my
Well,
your many copies of The Little Prince.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
you have a bit of an addictive personality, and I know that it's your own reflection on that causes you to have to exercise discipline when you find that the habit you're getting addicted to isn't good. And I have to say, I've thought a lot lately about how dangerous TV is in the streaming era. So I've now spoken to a couple people who told me that like they stopped watching TV, and I think it's a genius decision.
But you just gotta have discipline. Like when I find a good show, I make a concerted effort that I'm just gonna watch one episode. I'm gonna wait at least 2 or 3 nights, watch another episode, another 2 or 3 nights. I'm not always successful with it, but the shows that really resonate with me the most, I usually try to take a more disciplined approach with watching.
Yeah, I think there's a degree of self-control. There's different degrees. One, when you decide not to get close from the thing, and then that's like the boxing master level. Then there's the kung fu master, grandmaster level, which is what Adam is doing. It's like you actually touch the thing, you get there, you watch one, and then you stop.
I've worked for years to hone my
boxing
ability.
amateur level, so I just stay away from the thing.
Yeah.
No, I've worked for a long time towards this path,
Yeah, a lot of meditation,
mastery.
Smoothies with jalapenos.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I understand.
There is one more question, and that's what have you been listening to lately that has really moved you?
True. There is a record that I haven't been able to shake off also for the past year and a half, which is it's called Momon from Daniel Waro, who is a poet, singer, composer, instrument maker from Reunion Island. I have been very much in love with that music. It is funny to see the similarities between, tiny little island in the very, very end of Southeast Africa, actually past Madagascar, and music where I'm from, and so I've been listening to that a lot. I also got into Nigerian funk lately.
Cool.
Wow.
Again, I had that Nigerian funk era a few years ago, and I just pick it back up. It's fascinating, There was just like a couple producers doing this thing. And
I'm not familiar with Nigerian funk.
Oh yeah, I will fix it.
Okay, please.
I'll fix the problem. Yeah. Yeah, and is there something else I've been listening to? I've been mixing a lot of my own music, so listening over again.
Okay.
Things I've done.
What have you been working on?
I did this show a few weeks ago with 3 very good friends of mine
Mm-hmm.
for a festival in Veracruz, Mexico. We gathered here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
It was you might know them. It was Victor Pablo, Zack O'Farrill, and Adam O'Farrill.
Okay, Estación.
No,
Who? Yeah, it doesn't.
Sound like a couple of shady characters.
Yeah.
until you give them ceviche, then they start behaving.
No. The best, the really great thing about that session was that, well, you had made this chickpea salad that was incredible,
That was delicious.
but also you had strawberries, and Zach, he brought this chocolate ganache that we were dipping these strawberries in, and that was like, I never really played a gig before where we had strawberries to dip in chocolate ganache. I thought it was just like sort of a revolutionary experience.
You don't start every gig with decadent hedonism.
I try to. 99% of the times I fail. But yeah, I think that's a great way to start things, and the quarantine has sort of forced us to do things in reduced formats, often at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to make it a thing. I'm trying to make it a thing that before gigs and rehearsals and things, there's going to be doses of chocolate mixed with strawberries and other good foods.
You know, what really, and I felt this way when we did that. I mean, Victor Pablo is serious, you know, because it kind of reminds me, it just makes me think of like people like Curtis Mayfield and Miles Davis who incorporated hand percussion in a way that kind of went beyond sort of the stereotypes people have about hand percussion's role like, in music.
Yeah, you know? It was like hand percussion not confined to what we normally associate hand percussion with doing.
Yeah, and Victor just he just excels at that. But also I think that's something you get to just because, like, I mean, you can do, I mean, you know, I think you can kind of do anything, you know, truthfully. And so I'm curious if you thought about that, like how to, you know, the idea of subverting stylistic expectations as a bass player, as with your you know, synths even too, you know, and like, you know, if that's something that's been how much of it has been conscious, how much of it has been a little bit more just spontaneous.
There is a element of both. The non-conscious part is the one that I thought, with which three people I would love to spend 5 hours. Oh, that's easy. Zack, Adam, and Victor. So that was not necessarily conscious. That's just like these three people happen to be some of my, you know, closest people in New York, and I love spending time with them, and I love spending time with you guys together.
It's a good
now.
Name.
Musically speaking, it's a good answer. Musically speaking, I've noticed over the last probably decade or so, there is a sort of a new style that you know, people are using heavy improvisation mixed with electronics and mixed with grooves and outmeters and weird sounds, and which is nothing different than Miles' second quintet, to be honest, or, you know, Bitches Brew and everything after. But I feel like in the audience has been very keen on listening to this kind of music, and I started noticing, actually, it's all confined to a very specific sound, like North American sound of, you know, drums, synths, bass, guitars. Sort of stops there. And also in the rhythms, there's a tendency of having that too. And I started thinking, there's not so much of this going on mixed with world music, with rhythms from all over the place, you know, from textures from all over the place, with instrumentation from all over the place. There is some, just not so much. And that's basically mixing the things that I love the most, you know. Improvisation, crazy people, strawberries and chocolate, and music from all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to me that, well, like you said, there's everything that's happening in that grouping of people that we did. There's a free improvisation aspect, there's an electronic aspect, there's a groove aspect, a world quote unquote world music aspect, which I think we can all agree that world music is the most ridiculous genre describer that's ever been coined.
World music, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Dolly Parton.
Well, they all come from different planets, you know. It's not all the world, you know. Some of it's imaginary, some of it is theoretical. No, but I think, you know, it's rare to find people. Well, I don't know that it's rare. I know that you grew up in Latin America. You grew up in Venezuela, but you also are like a big like prog rock head, and you went and, you know, had to study very conservative jazz in Belgium, and then you also, I know there's a big free improvisation scene in the Netherlands where you also studied, and then you came here and you're like, oh, I grew up with Latin music and now I'm playing a bunch of it. But it's rare that all those different scenes meet right? It's rare that you find people that are versed in those different scenes that are actually getting together and playing together. And I think that might also kind of low key be why you live in Brooklyn, as opposed to other places. And just, I don't know, how do you reconcile the fact that, you know, all this music is usually very separate, very segregated, but it doesn't need to be. And you know, what do you think about people getting together and making new things in your studio?
One of the things I love about friendship and combining friendship with more serious things like a radio, a podcast, is that sometimes we ask questions because we sort of know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel in your question, like so many conversations we've had over the past years, you know? So there was this one day when I was walking, the very first time I went to Jamal Fna, which is the main square in Marrakech, Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
And I get off the bus because I see thousands of people in this square. And I start walking and I see the snakes, the monkeys, the goats, the camels, the people. And then I hear music and I hear far away a drum and a rhythm that is traditional from Venezuela, where I grew up. And I was like, what? It's impossible. I'm thousands of kilometers and miles away. So I started walking towards the rhythm, you know, following my nose. And and then I get there, and it's a bunch of Moroccan people playing Moroccan drums, playing a Moroccan rhythm. I was like, no, this is crazy. And then I had a revelation. Maybe what they like, I am also allowed to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the things that move you will also move me. Wow! What? We're all sort of similar? Is that what you're trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Man. So, I think there's not so much a reconciliation, but a recognition that the thing that makes you move, the thing that touches you, might also touch me if I listen, you know? So a rhythm from Reunion Island mixed with very old European harmony with Latin American instrumentation and free jazz. It's all the same. It's all something that moves people somewhere. There's a part of them that gets moved and touched by that.
Yeah.
So I think we're just trying to gather those pieces, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get moved here, you get moved here, you here, yeah. Put it all together.
Yeah.
So that's how I think about it. And indeed, Brooklyn is a great place to live when this is the thing you love.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of people that are doing all these different things that happen to be open to whatever crazy ideas their friends will have, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Victor Pablo, for example. You know, he grew up in Puerto Rico, studied classical percussion, grew up with salsa and bomba y plena, and also is super into Bad Bunny and reggaeton. And just, you know, he was like, when we just listened to, I know that he was looking for the occasion to mix congas with his drum pad and just create something totally new from outer space that is blending all these different things that we've spent our lives being interested in, but always being in situations where we have to be doing one or the other. Mm-hmm. Right? It's actually kind of, to me, it's almost like, because of this bizarre time we're living through, everyone, you know, when you're at home, you're not segregating your interests. So now, on the rare occasion where we actually get together and play, because we have to do it with a limited group of people, we can't just be going out to play with everyone these days. Mm-hmm. Because we do it with a limited group of people, you know, we get to get deeper with those people. We get to be like, oh, you're into this too? oh, you're into synths, you're into drum pads. Oh, you like mixing like break beats with songo, and it's like, oh, let's get together, eat some chickpea salad, eat some chocolate ganache and strawberries, and have no plan other than chickpea salad and chocolate and strawberries, and make some music and record it.
Yeah.
I have 4 words for you. One and the other.
One and the other.
Yeah.
Exactly. One and the other.
Sa ligne de conduite, sa perspective, sa ligne de fuite. À ce grand jeu, Napoléon, il a refait les néons. Ahia, ahoua, ahia, ahoua, lima, lima, lima. Ya la la, ya si,
Well, let me say one thing.
Sure.
Zach and I, from the earlier segment of the program where we recorded with Bam Bam, we might look a little bit more unwieldy. Our hair is a little more wild and, growing more. And I apologize if that offends anybody. This is our first episode, and we ran into some technical difficulties on the first recording with Malika, so we decided to give it another go. Malika is much more consistent and on top of her game, so you don't need to worry about her. But Zach and I sincerely apologize to anybody who is disturbed by the changing of appearance.
It's an outfit change. We have it's our costume designer backstage.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
who's getting us going. But yeah, I think I just want to give a very warm O'Farrill family welcome to the great, the illustrious, the wonderful Malika Zarra.
Yeah!
Thank you so much for being here with us again.
Hello, Zack. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm great, and you?
Yeah, I can't complain. Like you, as you pointed out earlier, it's 10 o'clock in the morning here. Just the perfect time to be doing activities. Got my iced black coffee.
I got my lukewarm,
Your lukewarm
black. I'm not gonna
coffee.
show it because I know empty. But
And my water.
Excellent.
how is that water?
Great.
Good. Yeah, the water's great. Water's great.
Here's something I always want to know as a New Yorker when I go to new places. In Paris, do you drink the water right out of the tap?
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful.
It's a good water.
Great. That's we in New York we're proud of our water as well. They always say that's why the pizza and the bagels are really good. But that might be a myth.
No, definitely, it's important.
Is that why the bread's good? Well, do you need water to make bread?
Well, you need-
yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yes,
bread,
yeah.
bread,
Questions.
flour, water, and yeast.
Yeah, probably why the bread is so good in Paris too.
So, how long have you lived in Paris, Malika?
Now it's been almost 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back in France
Before
after
Paris.
15 years of immigration.
Where did you live during those 15 years?
So 10 years in let's say 11 years in New York, and then 4 years in Morocco, and a little bit in Berlin. And,
Any is there a place that particularly resonated with you most during that time?
I love all these places for different reasons.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now I'm happy where I am.
That's most important.
Exactly.
That's most important. So you were born in France, right?
No, I was born in Morocco.
You were born in Morocco. How old
But I
were
grew
you
up
when
in
you?
France.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How old were
very-
you when your family moved to France?
3 years old. But then we
Okay.
were very close to Morocco because we keep going. Like in Europe, and especially in France, the North African immigrants, they used to go every summer back to the country, and this is what we were doing also.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it must have been interesting to go back. So how long were you living there when you returned? Like in this 15-year sort of period, like how much time were you living there for?
I said about 4 years.
Oh, 4 years. Okay.
Yeah, I was going back and forth to Berlin also.
Okay.
Mm.
And it
So-
must have been a totally different experience than
Oh,
when you were
yes, yeah.
growing up and going for the summer. Like you're an
I know,
adult
it's-
and you know
Yeah.
you're looking at it through completely different eyes. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Yeah.
completely different. First of all, to go on vacation and to leave, it's two different stories.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Did you? So what is it that was there a specific reason that you wanted to spend time living in Morocco?
Well, first of all, for the music,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get closer to the traditional musicians,
Mm-hmm.
and also yeah, and, you know, it's to live in another country, to speak the language, to live with the people, to breathe the air, to it allows you to understand a lot of things. A lot of
the idiosyncrasies of the people and the life and the
Exactly.
culture that
Exactly,
you don't see if you're not waking up there every day for
exactly.
lose track of the days.
And to understand yourself too. To learn a lot about yourself. Say, oh, this is why. Okay.
How did you first get started in music? How did you get interested in music?
I get interested in, but I always was very. I knew that art could be like a powerful tool to peace, so it's something that it was very important to me, and I grew up in places where I mean there were like different cultures, people from different cultures. And I really understood very quickly that through culture we were able to meet, and it shows me that it's very powerful tool. And then I step by step I discovered jazz and the improvisation. And improvisation, it's something that it's very it's very important in Arabic music, and actually in a lot of traditional music actually. So I found that link, and it's this is how I got interested in music. And then I started actually with clarinet. I was playing in a drum march band.
Really? Wow. Did you have to wear one of the like the
costume?
The costume,
Yes,
the uniform? Wow. If you could send us a picture
No.
that would make me so happy.
No way.
That'll take this episode to a whole new level.
That would have to be like the art for the episode on the
Yes,
right. That's funny though. That's funny because the clarinet is like historically. I think people forget sometimes. They always think about the trumpet and the drums and even the voice, but and the voice definitely. But the clarinet is one of the like kind of original primary instruments of jazz. You know, people like Sidney Bechet and Johnny Dodds. You know, like, and it's interesting that like you're like when you first started playing jazz, clarinet was your instrument. You know, that's a very interesting thing. Who are some of your other like entry points into the music? Like, you know, people you listen to.
Well, after like as a singer, there's a lot of all the biggest singers, but also I was listening to Monk a lot. Also, and also all the pop, the R&B, Motown, etc. artists. And at home we were listening. My mother was singing a lot, and she was listening a lot of Arabic music. So yeah.
I'm curious what your experience was studying jazz at a conservatory.
Yeah.
And kind of the path you took from studying jazz in a conservatory, which I guess it's in the word, but conservatories can be a little conservative sometimes. And I'm just curious about what your experiences were at conservatory, and being you with your influences and your background and your personality. Just what was it like? What do you remember? What comes to mind thinking about that time?
First of all, I went to the conservatory. It was horrible.
Oh no!
Surprise! Shocker!
I'll drink some coffee to that.
No, I was a very shy girl, etc. And one of the reasons why I decided to learn singing, etc., it's because I thought that it would be a good thing for me to open and try to. And I when I went to the conservatory, the classical music, etc., I felt that I instead of opening, it was like closing. Mm-hmm. So after that, I decided to go to. I switched to a jazz school, and later on, after like taking like many other lessons and going again to another jazz school, etc., I integrated in Marseille the jazz ensemble. A big band, and yes, that was a great experience where I can find myself, express myself, and And also at that time, I already started like using Arabic language, and starting being more familiar with with the maqam, etc. So I could more take advantage of that experience.
What is it that kind of lit this spark that encouraged you to bring the influences of your heritage into your performance as an artist, as a singer, like while you were studying?
First of all, it was very very basic, because I used to sing like all the jazz standard and blah 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 blah, but I would always forget because the lyrics, because in English, because I felt that the stories, I wasn't like living fully these stories, so I would always forget the lyrics.
Yeah.
And step by step, I started writing like very simple lyrics in Arabic, so I could remember. And then I found out that people, the audience, were more reacting when I was singing Arabic. And I understand through this experience that it's true that when you sing in your own language, it's in terms of emotion, is very in another level.
Yeah, you connect more.
Yeah, you connect more.
It's
and
amazing.
It's very...
It makes me wonder about your work with John Zorn, because John Zorn is interesting to me because he is both worked with and sort of cultivated a community of musicians coming from everywhere. I mean,
exactly, yeah.
like you have Joey Barron, Ok-Young Lee, like all these people coming from completely different places, internationally and musically. But it's always, and this is not, I'm not dinging him for this, it's always, I mean, more often than not, it's kind of in service of his music and to play his music. And I think that's what makes him interesting, is that like he's kind of letting so many hands go into the pot, of like what his music is and can be. And I think it's really, really interesting. And I'm curious, I'm just curious to hear about your experience working with him and working with it's Michele, right? That's
Michele, yes.
Michele, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience. He apparently he wanted to have this a cappella band for a long time. So he tried different things, and then he found this four vocalists, four ladies, with Sophia Ray. The latest one is Sophia Ray, Sarah Serpa, and Ayelet Rose Gottlieb. We are very, very different.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I love it. And basically, he gave us like some song of his, and he gave us completely freedom to arrange them and to write our own lyrics, or to use some poets, and really to he gave us a total freedom. So we were able to each of us, we had like a certain numbers of songs to arrange, and we used our own different cultures to arrange all these songs, and I think it was like a nice, beautiful work.
Yeah, so he just gives you like a lead sheet and says go, pretty much. Oh man, that's pretty cool. That's why he's really interesting. Is it's because like it's like that perfect balance of like, here is my sort of kind of foundation, and I'm gonna let you kind of just run with it and make it your own, and that's why his music is I mean, it is his music as much as it is the performer's music, and it's rare to kind of find that in an artist, particularly a composer.
Yeah.
It's rare to find a composer that is comfortable enough saying, I have this seed of a vision, let me find the people that are better equipped to bring it to life the way I imagine it becoming alive.
No, he's amazing. Seriously.
ما فشنا ما أينا وتنو ما أفماي ما فشنا ما أينا وتنو ما أفماي شو أليم Siete puertas, siete llaves, siete miedos, fantasmas, siete puertas, نسجان سؤال في الإيرلان
How did you meet him? How did you join that project?
Sophia Ray, I didn't know him, to be honest. That wasn't my music. I mean, that wasn't. Yes, exactly. So it was like that's why also I like to collaborate in different with different people, because I can learn like different different things.
Yep.
And Sophia and Ayelet, they were already in the group, and Sophia, she's the one who proposed me, and it worked.
So you're working on a new record.
Yes. It's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Do you have a date yet?
No, it's going to be end of October because of this mess we are living now. But yeah, end of October.
How long have you been working on it?
Forever.
That's what it feels like. That's what it always feels like.
But I'm very happy. Yeah. Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? What can we expect to hear? What's the new Malika sounding like?
What's the new Malika? It's an album that we recorded. I recorded in New York first with Bam. Bam, with a percussion that I brought in New York from Morocco also, and percussion player, and I had also Amino Beliamani, a piano player from Morocco who lives in New York. And then I added some stuff in Morocco with a singer, traditional singer in Morocco. And then we added a lot of horns here in Europe, and even in US, since this pandemic thing, we had to record a lot of stuff, each person.
You got a lot of time in your hands, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's mainly compositions. I used a lot of lyrics in Darija, which is the Moroccan Arabic, the dialect. And I also collaborated. I did a lot of collaboration actually in this album, which is very different from the previous ones. And for the lyrics, I collaborated with two writers from Morocco, ladies writers. And I think even it's like a kind of big production now, I can say.
Great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think musically, I really wanted to be simpler. Let's say that.
So often what's frustrating about recording is that you're anxious to get it over with and get it and release it, right? And now that and even if that means it sometimes takes a long time, right? Sometimes there's a long time between recording something and actually putting it out, even if you feel rushed doing it. Now the whole world has had to hit pause, it's like we actually have a chance to sit here, digest the work we've already done, really think deeply about what we want it to evolve into, and now we have the time and the resources to actually be like, hey, I want these horns. If even if the horns play 3 notes on this track, that's gonna make all the difference. We can just send an email. Here's the file. Can you play this line? And they send it back, and you have a whole new dimension to the music, right? It's kind of fun.
Yeah. It's fun and it's scary at the same time.
What's scary? What's scary about it?
What scary? Why scary?
But scaring because when this is like a life philosophy. It's sometimes you don't know where you're going and things like that.
It's like you have too many options available.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also I mean, I think there's always a fear. I think there's always a fear with at least I feel it with putting out your own music.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just you're always kind of putting yourself on the line in some way and just making yourself vulnerable. And especially, I'm wondering if, at least for me personally, when I put out some new music after a long time of not putting out, I'm more scared, and I'm wondering, because the last album you put out was in 2011, and I'm wondering if like that's more pressure, or if you feel more comfortable than ever and more eager than ever. I'm wondering where you stand on that.
Yeah, it's scary also because when I can say what what we were talking about earlier, like being able to to have different experience in different countries and different forgot anyway, different countries, etc. It's great because you enrich yourself, you learn a lot of stuff. At the same time, it's like a lot of energy of like you have to start again not from scratch, but it's like and I was able to do that, but more the times goes and more it's complicated and from that point of view that's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But I did it many times. Why not again?
I think that's the best philosophy you can have, is to like remind yourself that you're capable of
exactly.
it, and it's all in your head most of the time,
And we can always learn from our past experiences too. Every time
Exactly.
we've done something, the next time we do it, we're gonna do it a little bit better, even. And it's always exciting. I think I speak for both of us when I just say that thank you so much. We've had such a good time talking to you again.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, guys. Also, again.
No, it's really great. You're a tremendously interesting person with a lot of very unique
Thank you
experience.
Thank you very much, guys. Merci
No.
beaucoup.
Yeah.
Shukran.
What does that mean?
Shukran means thank you.
Oh, shukran to
Arabic.
It's
in Arabic, yeah.
Yeah.
you. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight getting to know you a little bit better.
Thank you very much.
I'm very excited for the next time we can cross paths in person.
وأنا صحيح ونيامي أيامي بدونك ما يهمني نعمان ما يهمني
Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed the program, and we have some other really cool upcoming events we'd like to direct your attention towards.
That's right. On March 12th, we have a very, very special edition of La Plaza called Falafel, Freilac, and Frijoles. I know, it sounds good, right? We'll be going back into the vault and checking out a concert that the Afro Latin Jazz Orchestra did featuring Anat Cohen, where they'll be playing Latinized versions of Jewish and Yiddish classics and klezmerized versions of Latin classics. On March 14th, we'll be having a really cool Virtual Birdland featuring the incredible Cuban rapper Telmari Diaz, playing her music with the orchestra. On March 17th, we're continuing our professional development series of master classes with episode 3, Booking Yourself and DIY Tour Organizing, featuring Miles Weinstein, who is the booker for the Afro Latin Jazz Orchestra, Adam O'Farrill, and the infamous Eva Lawitz. On March 28th, we'll be having a really special edition of Virtual Birdland featuring the music of Carla Bley, including a composition she wrote especially for the orchestra called Blue Palestine. That will be a world premiere, and also featuring arrangements of some of her classics.
We have some people we need to thank who helped produce this podcast.
That's right.
Astrid Asmussen, our video editor. Fred Miller, our audio editor. Eric Toller, our production manager. Antonia Moreno for her artistic guidance. And Sasha Gutierrez Montano for helping film these intros and outros.
Yeah. We also have to thank the ALJA staff who make all of this possible. Marietta Ulacia, the executive director. Arturo O'Farrill, the artistic director. Andrea Thompson, our director of development.
A lot of directors.
There's a lot of directors. I know, it's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, right?
Very high profile.
Eric Toller, our director of programming and production. I suppose I'm the director of education programs. Stefan Andemikael, our director of operations. Felipe Tristan, marketing and communications manager. And Gina Soto, our music administration manager. And we just want to say thank you to you, too, for joining us for this time. We hope you had as good a time as we've had, and we hope to see you next time. Where do we hope to see you?
At the bar!